support.
So those packed enclosures will roar and roar and roar for this contest here. We saw Britain against Australia yesterday, Scotch College against St Paul's School. Well, it's another Britain against Australia match-up today. Scotch College, who went so fast in that race yesterday to beat St Paul's, they had to equal a record to halfway down the course. And the boys of Eton College that lost out to St Paul's in the national schools, but their coach Alex Henswood assures me that they have put what needed to be put right since that second place, that silver medal at national schools, and he thinks they have a real opportunity to upset the huge Australian crew, the boys from Scotch College.
This is a big showdown. There'll be a lot of attention on this race in enclosures, a lot of support for both crews. Both have high ambitions.
When I see that you are both straight and ready.
Sounds like the voice of Richard Phelps, the umpire of this race.
Attention!
And talking with Alex Henswood, of course, he went out to Melbourne to coach at Melbourne University, and he knows the family of the Emmets and the Marcus Emmett rowing 4 in the Scotch College 8. If you look back from the bow 2, 3, 4, well, Alex Henswood, the Eton coach, knows that family well. So there's a lot of, it's a small world in rowing, isn't it? A lot of relationships.
Definitely, definitely. And the schoolboy world in particular is very connected.
And up from Harry Gill, the Scotch College Cox.
The connections are put aside at the moment, and the rivalry will be uppermost.
Both rowing in Hudson Boats, the Canadian boat manufacturer. Alex Henswood done so much to really popularise that brand of boat in Britain.
Go!
Well, we saw the pace of Scotch College yesterday against St Paul's, really aggressive on the front end, and they managed to get into a bulletproof rhythm, and try as they might, St Paul's couldn't distract them from it. Eton College, well, they listened to Constantine Loulis, the Olympic champion stroke man of the men's sport, just before this race. He gave them 2 bits of advice. Go off the start hard and fast as you can, and remember you are not alone. Because in schoolboy rowing it's easy to think it's just you, but you've got your crewmates around you. That was the advice of Britain's Olympic champion and old Etonian Constantine Loulis to those Etonians, and they have listened to it, haven't they, Kath?
Well, both crews have gone flat out, haven't they, as we expect in the schoolboy events, particularly. There's a real ferocity off the start. There's a lot of pride at stake here. Eton, of course, they're the holders of this, and the largest number of times, 12 times they've won this. The next amount of times is 5. There's a huge history here. It's Alex Henswood last year as coach, so he wants to go out with a real statement. So there's a lot of pride, and for the Australians, you have to go back to 2001 for the last time that an Australian crew won this event, and nobody has won it from Melbourne. Only twice in the whole history. A Brisbane Boys School and King's School Parramatta have won. So they want to come and put their mark on this event and on this cup. So they have big intentions.
So Scotch are into their rhythm now. I mean, this was the bulletproof rhythm we saw against St Paul's yesterday. Their coach, Tom Woodruff, you can see the monster of a man there, Tom McKay, the big 6-man in the middle of that boat. But Eton have not been overawed. And, well, there he is. 6-man's almost got a beard, hasn't he, Tom McKay? Very distinctive, and loads of power he provides along with his crewmates. Eton College, they look smooth, they look fluid. Alex Henswood said we worked on a couple of things that we didn't execute at national schools properly, and their coach Charlie Pearson has really set them off at a great pace, and they're right in this contest.
I agree, they're looking more fluid in the Eton crew, but then yesterday St Paul's are looking more fluid, but Scotch had too much power. The question is, of course, Scotch have had a harder route here. They had that lung buster yesterday with St Paul's, whereas Eton have had an easier route to this point. So the question is how much that will tell as well in this race.
Yeah, and they're on the Berkshire station, and really there should be no difference between the station, but I asked Alex Henswood, what station, and he said we're on Berkshire today, and I choose that every time. So, if they're gives them a little bit of advantage. He said we know where the gaps in the booms are, we know where the washes are going to come from the pleasure boats, and the crew on the Buckinghamshire station, Scotch College on the left of your picture, they probably got slightly more swells out in that Buckinghamshire station than the crew Eton College on the Berkshire side.
This is going to go all the way, and the fitness is going to be tested of both these crews. Head-to-head at the moment, there's not a lot in it, maybe a little more fluidity on the Eton side.
So the Eton College crew, the top of your shot, you can see they won this event, Eton College, 50 years ago, and just at the top of your shot, that was the Eton crew that won that event 50 years ago, going out for a row pass today in a tea break, and they would have been giving a fearsome shout to these young Etonians. Rowing in the boat, which is named debut at Copley after their captain last year. We saw him win the race in the ladies' plate earlier. Scotch College look to me have an advantage as we come just through the halfway point.
I felt like they've just pushed in, sort of done a power 10 or a power 20 or something in the Scotch College crew, so they've just kind of upped it a little bit sharper again. It feels like it's smoother, but a little of the power's come off the Eton crew, just a fraction. So, you know, at this point, for both of them, the Coxes have got to keep them absolutely on top of the power and the technique. But the advantage and the momentum at the moment is with Scotch College.
Tom Woodruff, the Scotch coach, has really been talking his crews down. You know, if you listen to him, they'd have trouble getting to the start of each race, let alone competing. But he wouldn't have brought them over unless he believed they had a real chance of winning. And you can see why. Just that power through. They look like a university crew, really, don't they? Just that, pretty much like an American university crew. Just rowing really well, fluid through the recovery, but just so locked and powerful. And at the moment, I think that's a race-winning move against Eton, I have to say.
Well, we'll have to test. It's a psychological test for Eton, isn't it? Come on, you've now been asked a question. What can you do?
So Eton knew they'd be tested. St Paul's were tested yesterday, came back bravely at the finish. Eton College have got it all to do. That bulletproof rhythm of Scotch College, set by Lackey Murky, their stroke man, the Australian, 18 years of age. And they are disappearing now into the distance, and Eton College are going to have to do something very special. I still can't quite see them. There's about 650, 700 metres to go. Something special could happen in this race, but it's going to take a mighty finish sprint to turn this verdict round. And they look relaxed, don't they, the Scotch boys? They
do. They've got that confidence, I think, to have a bit of an edge at this point. I mean, it's not over. They're still in contact, so they're under pressure. But of course, they did that fantastically fast time at Holland Becker recently as well, against, you know, coming up against the Dutch crew there. So they've got confidence in the racing they've done, and if their fitness is there, which has been astounding in all the races so far, then you're going to have to feel that they're going to have it. But Eton are coming back now. Wow. They're going to throw it in. They're going to throw in more.
This is sensational. Didn't really expect to see that. This is where you get in the middle of the boat. Stars like Felix Drinkle, who does the fastest British junior pair with Casper Woods from St Paul's School. That's where you want your men to perform. And they are throwing some magic at this race. I think it's still a bit too late, but Scotch College are out there, and Eton are coming.
There's going to be a roar coming very soon from the enclosures, which is going to lift both crews. Of course, there'll be so many supporters for both crews, and that noise, who's that going to help? Have Scotch got enough to just finish the job off? Can Eton find that extra gear? They need more now. They need more. They've got to go again. They've got to do a real lift up into an extra gear. Do they have that?
Scotch College just coming towards the finish. 10 strokes to go now in that camera shot. There you can see the finish just by the floating grandstand. Deja vu again. Scotch College have beaten another great British schoolboy crew, this time from Eton College. Yesterday it was St Paul's, today Eton College. A brave effort from the lads from Eton, but it wasn't good enough to beat this all-conquering Australian crew from Melbourne, and they have taken two fantastic scalps.
Strong, powerful crew who are now through to the Sunday final.
Sunday final. Little thumbs up from Harry Gill there to his opposite number, George Cozens, the Cox of the Eton crew. Well, it looked like they were there and in that race in the first quarter. They listened to the advice given to them by Konstantin Loulis, famously competed for Eton and won this event here for Eton College.
They absolutely took it to Scotch. They put pressure on Scotch and said, what have you got? But they got a lot of power. That's what they got. And they came back, rode through very confidently, holding that length and power. And they seem to be getting more powerful race by race.
It'll be a really great crew to beat them. And we've got Radley and Shiplake College, two British crews, to come in the other semi-final on the other side of the draw. And it's hard to see either of those two crews getting past Scotch College.
Yeah, they've put a statement down, haven't they, in every race they've done, from Holland Becker to every round at Henley Royal Regatta. So I think they're the crew to beat. But anything's possible.
Yeah, well, I'm sure their coach, Tom Woodruff, will downplay that. Lucky Murky. I mean, he's got such an engine behind him. It's quite easy for him, the 81 kilo stroke man, to set a rhythm. And the Eton boys, well, they gave their all in that race.